Baby boomers get a lot of heat. Boomer. We've all seen the memes. They're called out of touch, technophobic, resistant to change. But what if we've had it completely backwards? What if many of the things younger generations think they invented, boomers were already doing decades ago? Welcome to GenSync TV. We focus on different generations, one future. Today we're taking a serious look at the baby boomer generation, not through the lens of criticism, through the lens of history. Baby boomers actually are. Baby boomers were born between 1946 and 1964. They came of age in one of the most turbulent eras in modern history. Civil rights movements, women's liberation, anti-war protests, the assassination of leaders they believed in, economic uncertainty, the Cold War. They didn't inherit stability. They fought for it. And yet, somewhere along the way, the narrative shifted. The generation that marched in the streets became the generation accused of gatekeeping progress. The people who challenged every institution became the people accused of protecting them. How does that happen? It happens when we forget history and replace it with stereotype. The things they were first. Let's talk about what boomers actually pioneered. Work-life balance. Boomers were the first generation to push back en masse against the idea that your job was your whole identity. Mental health awareness. It was boomer-era activism that began destigmatizing therapy and emotional well-being in mainstream culture. Environmental consciousness. The first Earth Day was in 1970. Boomers organized it. Entrepreneurship. Boomers launched the small business revolution of the 1970s and 80s, building companies from nothing at rates that hadn't been seen before. And technology, the personal computer, the internet infrastructure, the digital economy, these weren't handed to boomers. They built them. The generation accused of being technophobic literally created the technology where the disconnect happened. So how did we get here? Here's the honest answer. Technology, especially social media and smartphones, moved fast, faster than anyone anticipated. And while younger generations absorbed those changes in real time, many boomers were in the middle of careers, raising families, managing companies. They didn't have the luxury of growing up with it. That's not resistance, that's timing. And here's something worth sitting with. When boomers express skepticism about new technology or new ways of working, sometimes they're right. Not always, but sometimes. Because lived experience is a form of knowledge, and a generation that has navigated multiple recessions, multiple cultural upheavals, and multiple technological revolutions knows something that a generation just starting out doesn't yet. Not everything, but something. What we lose when we write them off. There's a real cost to dismissing an entire generation. Boomers carry institutional knowledge that cannot be Googled. They understand how to build relationships over time, how to stay calm in a crisis, how to persist when things feel impossible. These aren't soft skills, these are survival skills. And as more boomers retire or transition out of the workforce, that knowledge disappears, unless we deliberately preserve it. Younger generations who mock boomers are, without realizing it, dismantling the very scaffolding they need to climb. The smartest companies in the world know this. They're building mentorship programs, reverse mentorship models, cross-generational teams, because they understand The wisdom gap is a real threat to long-term success. Every generation carries the scars of the era that shaped them. Boomers were shaped by upheaval, by sacrifice, by a belief, however imperfect, that the world could be made better. They weren't always right, no generation is, but they weren't out of touch either. They were just further along the road. Maybe instead of looking at them and seeing the past, we should look more carefully, because a lot of what they learned the hard way, we're still figuring out. This is Gen Sync TV. Different generations, one future. Share this with someone who deserves a second look. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.